What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down 3 tips for wide receivers to improve their blocking. So we're going to be showing good and bad examples of wide receiver blocking techniques. Then we're going to be talking about 3 specific things that will help you guys stay in front of a defender, be able to block a defender, and make yourself an asset in the run game. So I hope this video helps you guys out. But also, fellas, if you guys have not heard, we are traveling to 9 different cities this offseason for our 2-day quarterback and wide receiver training camp tour. So we are starting off the camp. We're going to be in Tampa, Florida, then Houston, Texas. We're coming to Phoenix, Newark, New Jersey, Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago, Dallas, Nashville, and then we're finishing it off in Los Angeles, California. So if you guys are local to any one of those states or want to come out to one of those states and travel out and get some great work in with us, spots are limited. We're keeping things small so we can really focus on the details and actually coaching you guys, not just running you through a bunch of different drills and just pretty much just getting reps and just using it as a money grab, right? We're really trying to actually develop you guys and come out to different states and provide some value for you. So check out that very first link below if you're interested in one of our camps. Let's get started with this video. So first clip here is a bad example of what wide receivers need to do when they are blocking for a screen, blocking in the run game, whatever it is. So main thing, first tip to improve your blocking is you have to have a good base and you have to be under control when you're addressing a DB, right? So you see what this receiver does. He's standing very tall and he's got a very narrow base. His whole body in general is just very narrow. So that's going to make it very easy for a DB to try to juke you out, to try to move past you. Think of it as a receiver, like let's say you're in press coverage, right? And the DB's just standing straight up tall. That's going to be the easiest thing in the world to throw a move to get him off balance because he's not in a good center of gravity. So we have to make sure that anytime I'm addressing a DB, I am in a good center of gravity, I'm under control, and my base is not super narrow. So first tip to be a better blocker as a wide receiver is you have to have a good base. We cannot address this guy with a narrow base because he's just going to run right around me. I'm not going to have the wherewithal to react, and he's going to be able to make a play either in the run or in the screen game, right? So now let's take a look at this clip right here. I want you guys to focus solely on this front guy who's making this block. Check out his base, right? Very wide. That's the position that we want to get to anytime that we're trying to drive a DB, because this is how you stay stable. I'll play this thing full speed one more time. This is how you stay in that low center of gravity where you can battle this DB and actually drive him back and make a play. And you see he's able to get a pancake on this thing simply because he has a good base and he's able to mirror this guy. When this guy, and again, it's treated like the same thing as like a DB when he's trying to play press coverage with me. He's taught to keep his base and stay square while we're making all these moves. So that's how we have to approach it as a wide receiver. I got to keep my base. I have to stay square. I got to keep my feet active, and we're going to get to that as this video goes on. But make sure that we do not stand narrow. Make sure that we do not stand tall, and that I keep a good base to be able to drive him back. That's the first tip to be a better blocker as a wide receiver. Let's watch the thing again, full speed. Great example of how you want to stay wide, good base, so we could drive this guy and constantly stay in front of this DB. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at Kyle Pitts right here out of this tight end slot. Now, again, I know that he's a tight end. No, he's not a receiver, but again, I don't know much about offensive line. I'm not going to pretend like I do. I know a little bit about blocking schemes and all that stuff protection-wise just from playing quarterback, but I'm not going to try to sit here and tell you guys about offensive line technique like kick step, reach stepping, all that stuff, because that's just not what I do. But something that can apply for receivers in the run game when you get in front of a wide receiver, or when you get in front of a DB and you have to drive him back, is keeping your feet active, okay? So that's the second tip to becoming a better blocker as a wide receiver. You need active feet when you address the DB. So if I have a wide base, but I'm flat-footed, it ain't gonna work. You need to have a wide base and you need to have your feet active to drive this guy. So let's watch Kyle Pitts right here. He does a great job of keeping active feet, driving his feet. Granted, ball was incomplete, but this guy had no chance, and he's blocking a guy much bigger than he is in this run game, or he's like pass proing, right? So if I'm blocking in the run as a wide receiver and I gotta go block a guy downfield, I need to accept this principle, right? Obviously, a tight end's probably going to be a little bit better of a blocker than a wide receiver. If you're a wide receiver and you struggle with blocking, I know what I did is I went to offensive line coach. I'm like, hey, what do you tell your guys? Like, what are some of the main things, if you had to name 3 most important things that your offensive linemen need to do to become a better blocker? And one of the things that he told me was active feet, good base, and the next tip that we're going to get to after this is the same thing that he told me. So we have to make sure, we have to learn from those guys that block for a living. And what they do is they always have active feet. They're never flat-footed. He has that good base. He's driving those feet. His feet stay active. You never want to be flat-footed, because when you're flat-footed, this guy can run you over. He could juke you out. He can make a move, and we're going to be off balance. So make sure that we have a good base, number 1. Number 2, second tip to be a better blocker as a wide receiver, active feet. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Pitts addressing this guy, good base, and having those active feet to not get blown right past. Okay, so now, Top of the screen is what we're focusing on here. Now, third tip to be a better blocker in the run game as a wide receiver is you have to make sure that we get lower. The low man is going to win. I don't care how tall you are. I don't care how small you are. You have to focus on being lower than the defender that you were trying to block, because that's just, you have more leverage like that. You're in a better center of gravity. So let's watch this receiver. This is a great example of how getting lower than somebody is going to help you guys win this battle, right? So when he addresses this guy, again, same principles that we just talked about. He's got a nice strong base, right? Good base in the pocket. His feet are not in the pocket. Good base dressing this blocker. And he keeps active feet. But again, you see how he's lower than this guy. When you're lower than the DB, you could actually drive up. You could drive from those hips. You could drive from those legs. I had an offensive line coach tell me one time that offensive linemen, it's more beneficial for them to do like explosive movements, like power cleans, like box jumps, because when you're blocking, you're driving from your lower half up rather than doing like an exercise like bench press where you're just pushing with your arms, because that's not where you get power. Your power comes from your legs and from your hips being able to drive up. And I don't get to that spot unless I'm lower than this DB and I actually drive. So this is a perfect example of that. So if you want to be a better blocker as a wide receiver, you got to make sure that we address the DB in a good base and I'm under control. Number 2, my feet stay active. And then number 3, I get lower than that DB because the low man is always going to win. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job getting lower than this DB, driving him, active feet, and a good base to list all those principles that we focus on. All right, guys, we want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Always appreciate the feedback, and it's always great to hear from you guys as well. And again, fellas, coming to 9 different cities this offseason. You guys want to come out into a small group-like setting with me and a few other coaches that are on my staff that have all played at the Division I level or higher. Check out that very first link below. We would love to have you guys out to one of our 9 camps this offseason. I'll see you guys next time.